It's May the 9th, 2023, and our reading today in the book of Psalms is Psalm 145. It's called a Psalm of Praise of David, and just to let you know, this week will be our final week in the book of Psalms, and we will have, on some days, we'll have two Psalms together, just so we can finish off this week. But this one is so magnificent, it really deserves a whole session, just reading this and looking at this together. I will exalt you, my God the King. I will praise your name forever and ever. Every day I will praise you and extol your name forever and ever. Great is the Lord and most worthy of praise. His greatness no one can fathom. One generation will commend your works to another. They will tell of your mighty acts. They will speak of the glorious splendor of your majesty, and I will meditate on your wonderful works. They will tell of the power of your awesome works, and I will proclaim your great deeds. They will celebrate your abundant goodness and joyfully sing of your righteousness. The Lord is gracious and compassionate, slow to anger, and rich in love. The Lord is good to all. He has compassion on all he has made. All you have made will praise you, O Lord. Your saints will extol you. They will tell of the glory of your kingdom and speak of your might, so that all men may know of your mighty acts and the glorious splendor of your kingdom. Your kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and your dominion endures through all generations. The Lord is faithful to all his promises and loving toward all he has made. The Lord upholds all those who fall and lifts up all who are bowed down. The eyes of all look to you, and you give them their food at the proper time. You open your hand and satisfy the desires of every living thing. The Lord is righteous in all his ways and loving toward all he has made. The Lord is near to all who call on him, in truth. He fulfills the desires of those who fear him. He hears their cry and saves them. The Lord watches over all who love him, but all the wicked he will destroy. My mouth will speak in praise of the Lord. Let every creature praise his holy name forever and ever. Amen. Well, this is indeed a psalm of praise, a great psalm of praise. It says a psalm of David, and we can well imagine David personally penning these words, singing these words. I will exalt you, my God the King. I will praise your name forever and ever. And this is to be for us, to sing these words personally, meaningfully, from our hearts. But why? And that's why we have a whole psalm. It starts with the declaration, the I will, but why will I? Well, because of the great truths that follow concerning God. A psalm of praise, a psalm of praise to God. And so we have so much here about the being, the attributes, the character, the characteristics of God, what he is like, the greatness of God. Great is the Lord and most worthy of praise. I'm looking now at verses 3 to 7. The greatness of God and the fact that this proclamation, this declaration, this praise, and this preaching, because the two things are linked there, telling God in a sense how wonderful he is, but also telling others and the generations following. That's emphasized here. telling them about the greatness of our God. And we move now from the I of the opening verses to they, verse 5. They will speak, verse 6. They will tell, verse 7. They will celebrate the generations following. But they will only do that if I, and not just me, but us, if we tell them, our own children, the children of this generation and the generations following. We have to tell them how great is the Lord. Verse 3. We have to tell them about his goodness. Verse 7. Your abundant goodness. And then verses 8 to 13, a great emphasis on his grace. The Lord is gracious. Verse 8. Verse 9, the Lord is good to all. Again, goodness. And his glory. They will tell of the glory of your kingdom. The glorious splendor of your kingdom, verse 12. Verse 13, your kingdom is an everlasting kingdom. So greatness, grace, goodness, glory, that's our praise, primarily for God. That's the main reason why we praise. It's to please God. It's to bless him, bless his heart for all that he's revealed to us about him. But also, it does include others. The assumption is that others are listening in, our families, our neighbors, the world, but also we've got to go out into the world. That's strongly implied. Even in a psalm, yes. Even in the Old Testament, this was part of the reason why God chose Israel. And this was part of their calling as a royal priesthood and a holy nation in the world. And then verses 13 to 20, a very, very wonderful, rich passage. The Lord is mentioned so many times here by name. Yahweh, the Lord is, the Lord is, the Lord is, the Lord does, the Lord does, the Lord does. Just as an example, verse 17, the Lord is righteous. That's who he is in himself. He's righteous in all his ways. So it expands on that a little bit. And loving toward all he has made, who he is, what he's like, what he does for the whole world, the whole of creation, all humanity, but particularly his people. Verse 20, the Lord watches over all who love him. But, please note this but the wicked he will destroy. No wonder then, as the psalm begins with praise, it also ends with that. Verse 21, my mouth will speak in praise of the Lord. Let every creature praise his holy name forever and ever. Well, yes, if only that was so, if only that would happen. Will that happen? My friends, one day it will. It's beginning to happen. You think of all the preparation that went into the king's coronation recently, all those choirs, all those singing, all those singers, all that musicianship, quite apart from anything else that went on that day. They were preparing for weeks, for months, perhaps years, some of them. And certainly King Charles himself, he'd been preparing for that day for over 70 years. Everything is being prepared and planned and moving towards a position of universal praise. We're part of that now on earth, and one day we will join the truly universal praise that's already happening in heaven, and then heaven and earth will join together. This is the inside of Revelation chapter 5, verses 13 and 14. Then I heard every creature in heaven and on earth and under the earth and on the sea and all that is in them singing. To him who sits on the throne and to the Lamb be praise and honor and glory and power forever and ever. The four living creatures said, Amen. And the elders fell down and worshipped.